We all know that today the likelihood to success is very, very high. Today the odds to succeed are higher than ever before. And the reason for that is that we have all information in the universe available for free. So basically we can achieve every single goal. Billionaires share interviews, health experts and people who want to live forever, like Brian Johnson, share their insights, and relationship experts share their life with their partner. In today's world, it is easier than ever before to learn from the masters and to achieve your goal. And as you know, in order to achieve your goal, you need to work. In today's video, we talk about how billionaires and how successful people actually focus. And no worries, I will give you the exact setup that I use to become a billionaire in the health niche one day. So, with no further ado, let's get into it. You see here right now, you are someone who is full of material. You have a vision, you have something in your mind, and no one else besides of you knows what is inside it. You have a vision. That's what we can say. No one knows the vision, but you know your vision. If you don't know your vision, if you don't know your goal, then just sit down for 2 or 3 days and think about what you want to do in your life. And then you have a good starting point. But now let's consider you have already your goal in mind. Now the only thing you need is focus, so focus action to achieve the output. And that is the goal. But as you can see here, we have two different scenarios. We have the one scenario that is the output heaven, and the second that is the output hell. The problem with those two is now, when you are in output heaven, you take the steps to achieve your goal. Pretty easy. But the second thing is, you have a goal and you take a lot of actions, but most of them don't contribute to your goal and you don't actually focus on your goal. And that doesn't actually has to do something with, your IQ, with your intelligence. That only has to do something with where you get your sources from and how to focus. Well, I can't tell you where you get your sources from because you have different goal than I. So in general, I would consider have a goal, get someone who already achieved your goal, find him, and act like he acts when he was in your shoes. That is a simple framework. But now let's take a look at this. We can achieve output heaven or hell by managing our focus. And we want to achieve output heaven, because we want to achieve our goal. That is what life is all about. And in order to do this, we need to focus. So I would say, let's focus. Okay? Most of the times, focus is, understood in this weird arbitrage thing of just sitting there and doing the work. And that is kind of true. But in order to, be able to work, you need to be in the right position to work. And you need to understand why you do something. Because when there is a why, there is a how. You get it. So right in front of me, I have actually 9 steps that help you achieve your goal quicker. And the first step, my pen is actually not that good, but we have a second option. First thing we have to do is we need to understand our setup. And what do we have to achieve our goal? Well, we have energy, we have time, and of course, for some goals, we need money, costs, or money. But let's consider you have a goal that, has something to do with a skill set or with, I don't know, reaching something. Because, money actually helps you with nothing when you don't know your goal, when you don't know where to focus on, because money is only the key to get access to the things. So let's take a look at energy and time. You need to set up these two variables. How in modern society can we set up our time? Well, we know that we have 24 hours every single day, and this is our currency. And now you have to play the game of hours. Play the game of hours. Track, and that is what I do. That is literally the only thing I do every single day, and that is some concept that Steve Jobs has, with the signal and the noise. The signal is those hours you spend on your top 3 changes for the day. Let's have an example. Okay? You have a big goal, you want to be a pro athlete. Yes? Now the problem is, what do I need to do? Well, you brainstorm it the evening before, and now you have 3 lists for today. Get a chef, because you don't want to waste time. Practice and sign contractor. So these are your top 3 things you now need to do. The problem is now that most of the people don't work on these 3 things. And that is where focus now plays the big role. Steve Jobs targets the 80-20 ratio between signal and noise. That means he works 80% of his time on the top 3 things and 20% on something else. And by the way, noise are messages with your girlfriend, going to the gym, eating food, playing video games, being not focused on this task. This is what the noise is. We want to keep this noise as little as possible, to have as much signal as we require for the day. And some days you need, 8 hours of signal. Some days you need 14. And this only depends on the things you plan out today. So I hope you understand this. Focus is, a weird word. Because when now someone tells you, wait, bro, let's focus. What does he mean by that, right? With focus we mean focusing or working. Actually, focus is correlation with work. Working on things, that matter the most of the day, for the day. So this is actually the concept that I use. And as, for example, I show this to you. I have here a piece of paper. And I write down here every single day of the month. So September 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th for October, November, and December. It's on this page as well. And every day I make list here on this whiteboard. And every hour I spend on the signal, I draw a line there. And every hour I have noise, I draw it there. And then in the end of the month, I actually see how much I focus. So now you can see your setup. You now can see how much time you spend. Because this is the real stuff. This is not the planning stuff. Now we are actually taking the action, doing something. Because everyone tells you, to have a calendar and Pomodoro and block your time and you know, noise canceling and all of that, yeah. And we will dig deep into the setup here. But that doesn't actually have something to do with time. Time actually has to do something with where you spend it on. And I can tell you this. It is not a big deal. Once you get conscious about your time and just track signal and noise. So actions you need to do, or time you spend on action you need to do, and time on action you don't need to do, and you just track it and you are honest to yourself. Review yourself in 30 days and you will not even recognize you. You will scale so much far further. Because most of the people who watch these videos especially have visions. You know, you have this internal goal. You want it, right? And need it. But now you do it. And doing shifts the internal view, the internal person you want to become, to reality. And for every hour you spend on the most important things that your visionary mind crafted, you are one step further to your goal. That is the only way. Successful people are only successful because, you know, they have something in their mind, who they want to become. They look at people who already do it, or, you know, kind of similar style, and they execute the most important task. And knowing what task is the most important, that is actually something you learn over time. You learn with mistakes. And this iteration stuff, actually, or this learning with mistakes, helps your mind actually to train intuition. Because once you now nail this, knowing this planning every single evening, what you will need to do, and you do it and you see the change, your subconscious mind now trusts your body, trust yourself. Then you build confidence and then you grow even further. So it is not only because of the time you spend, no, it is because of the return on the time invest you get. And let me tell you this, when you have big goals, right? You need to go, this here is your comfort zone, you need to go very, very far outside of your comfort zone. For example, 1 billion. That is my goal. It is not because, you know, it's a fantasy number, it is only because it is very high number, so I don't stop working. If that makes sense. So it is not that, you know, I will stop working when I hit 1 billion, or this is my only goal and I don't care about client satisfaction. That's, by the way, my number one priority. But I only have this goal to, you know, manifest in my mind what is actually possible. And this goal is so big because, you know, goal 10K a month, you don't need to go that far. And you can waste your time on, you know, other things. And you can have more signal. But the people who reach that here have more noise, less noise, spend more time in the signal than these people. That's the only difference. The only difference. And therefore, if you want to understand what it actually means to be successful, or what it actually means to, you know, build something big, and try this out, because then you actually realize what is required to actually achieve your goal. Because dreaming is something everyone does. Everyone wants to be rich. But the next step of actually planning it out, and then the next step of working on it, that is something where the majority of people fail. Now let's talk about the energy. And energy, we have mind and body. Okay? And I don't want to tell you all of, you know, I'm a biohacker. I need to preach you that. Eat clean, sleep, good, trauma, work, my pen, trauma, work, and exercise. Man, that sounds that looks ridiculous, but it is okay. That is something you know it. You know it. You know what you need to do. Everyone knows that exercising is good, eating clean is good, sleeping long or not long, but efficient is good, tracking his sleep, having an O-ring, all of these things are, everyone knows it. I will make a whole separate video about how to train your body for the fullest energy. But in this video, we focus more on the mind side for the focus. Because the reason why there are a lot of people who now do the work and don't do the work, the reason why that is the case is only because of the mind. There are people who are, successful people who are unhealthy, who don't exercise, who don't do this health stuff, but they are still successful and achieve their goal. And the only reason why they do this is because they shifted their mind, okay? Therefore, you get your energy over the long term from your body, but over the short term, and I mean by that on a daily basis, when you repeat these things I'm about to tell you on a daily basis, you get this extra energy for your mind. Think about this, your body can now do 100%. You fuel, maybe 120 if given substances and if you maximize it on a biohacking way. But your brain, your mind can actually push this even to 150 or to 200 or to 300%. Actually, that's what is required. And it is not bullshit because, you see this all the time when, there is someone who works against the odds, who is unhealthy, people, in war and all of that. These people are not healthy. They don't eat protein bars. They don't hit their macros. They don't, cover all of their health metrics. They don't have great blood work, but they still achieve their goal. And that is because they are so obsessed with doing that. And this system I'm about to show you now will help you cutting out all the noise. Because when you have no noise, you only have signal. You only can work on this, right? When you have noise, of course your body wants to do this because the noise is good, the noise is easy, talking to your friends is simple, doing this stuff is very easy. But once you understand that cutting out the noise is the only way to achieve signal, you are in a very good flow and you actually can achieve greatness. So I want to talk about this here for you. First of all, we need to understand the topic cut. We need to cut out all the things now, all the things that are non-goal attached. Yeah. For example, you have friends in your group and you are, I don't know, for example, I had friends who drank alcohol all the time, not every evening, but every weekend, this classic 20-year-old college students, right? Excessive alcohol, maybe some drugs, don't take care on their health. But I'm a biohacker. So my problem is now that in order to get a signal, why should I spend now time with people who don't have the same goal than I? So what I now do is I either have friends in my health or I have friends on my business side. Well, besides my GF and of course mother, father, and sister. These 4 people are my inner circle. So my girlfriend is actually my inner circle, and then they come, and then my friends are there. My business and my health friends. And this is the only thing I have. And it might sound ridiculous, but what do we expect? What will happen if you keep all of this noise? If you put yourself into the position to do bad stuff. Let me explain you this in another way. You, for example, now, want to be healthy. And in order to be healthy, you need to eat good food. But now you always buy sweets, chips, hyper-processed food, all of the things that correlate with weight gaining, bad health, bad blood work, no nutrients. Okay? All of these things. It is okay to have sweets in your room. But if you have such a high goal, for example, I can't eat that much sweets because I have to represent someone. I have to represent a healthy guy because that is my niche, my market. Therefore, I need to be in good shape, physical and mental, in order to actually attract people who see me as, someone they align with, someone they can trust. And therefore, I can't weigh, 300 pounds. But if you are, for example, if you are a stock trader, who cares that you weigh 300 pounds? No one. But that's not their noise, if that makes sense. That is not their noise. Okay, maybe they would be an even better stock trader when they, were shredded, fit, great physical health, but that's a whole different point. But this is the social point, the social way, social voice. And a lot of people are but it is very hard for a lot of people to cut that out. I, for example, I'm a very, introvert person. I love to work here in my room. That is my dream life. Working 12 to 14 hours in my room and the evening spent with my girlfriend. Going wherever. And sometimes going on a vacation. That is my dream life. That is literally my dream life. But it is not for everyone. So I can understand that this is a very hard thing. But you need to do this. And for me, there are other things that are way harder than for you. For example, the next thing. Environment. When you see here my room is completely optimized on working on my health. I have here in front of me my Mandy headband to track my focus. I have here noise cancelling headphones. I have a notebook where I write the things down. I have my AirPods and I have my cap and my headphones if I don't want to wear AirPods. I have some books, I have my MacBook, I have a pen, and this here. That is my room. In the corner there's an air diffuser if I want to have a cozy environment. And here are, some lamps and I can turn them orange. So it's kind of fancy stuff to make my environment very cozy and comfortable for me. I don't need more. But maybe you need, some plants and some stuff, but only as something that gives you signal and not noise. We want to cut this out. We want to cut the noise out. So if I had a screen here, a monitor, and a PS5, and I don't know, a chessboard, and then I have I don't know, whatever, my phone, and no distraction and no app blockers. What do you think would I do? Successful people are no superhumans. They are normal human beings. But they understand what is required to do. And I want to explain it to you because this is the easiest way to achieve the things. This is the, let me tell this to you in a whole different way. Being successful is never ever 100% thing. Every successful human being will tell you, oh, it has to do something with luck, and oh, I worked, but I never knew when it would happen, when I would be successful. So luck is a huge indicator. And let's say that without this method I'm about to show you throughout the video, let's say that the chance is 15% to be successful. And with this here, the chance is 70%. To make this, crispy clear for you, cutting out the noise and only focusing on the positive things that contribute to your goal are the only way. And the only thing I do in this video is telling you what your noise can be and what are the number one distractors, so you cut them out and achieve the goal. I don't know what goal you have, but with this here, you can scale. And then that is literally what all of these, get rich quick people will tell you. These are their mindset modules they have. Only avoid the goals, understand that the whole life is cause and effect. The whole life is cause and effect. You might have seen this here. Okay? You might have seen this here. You have input, process, output, and feedback. Okay? And your input is the signal. Okay? So the signal is actually the time plus energy you spend in the time. That means the focus you spend. That is your input. That is the only thing you can do. And I don't care if it is, I don't know, creating a brand logo, hiring a new appointment setter, working on an ad, working on something structural like hiring a new guy. This is the input. And your time and your energy is the only asset you have. And the signal is the time you spend on it. And then you have the process. And you only know the process. You only can be efficient in your process with enough reps. With not 100, with not 1,000, but 10,000 or 20,000 or even 100,000 hours spent on one single topic. There is a reason why LeBron James is the best basketball player. There is a reason why Mozart is one of the greatest musicians of all time. There is a reason why Charles Darwin changed the world with his images, with his vision. The reason is that they did one thing their whole life. Charles Darwin got, successful or even got on his ship because as a kid he loved to collect specimens and things from the nature. When he had no reps in it, no practice, when he didn't process that in his brain for years, there would be no way that he would create the evolutionary theory. And that is the thing with luck, You need to have something you do over time. Then you need to have the timing because, someone didn't discover something or someone has, you find this edge. And then you need to live you need to live there, you need to be born. To be born is a small percentage. So actually succeeding is, I don't know, what is the, actual likelihood to succeed? It is so random. But the signal and the reps are the only way you can do it. Work so hard that it is unreasonable to be not successful. Do it so often that it would be unreasonable to be unsuccessful. Completely unreasonable. I record, for example, for this YouTube video for every day for 10 years. let's say this, 365 days. Let's say I film every single day, 30 minutes to 60 minutes. Let's say I spend 1 hour a day on YouTube. 1 hour a day. For 365 days, 10 years. That are 3,650 hours. Okay? And now let's say I do this for 20 years. For 30 years. One day, one day, it would be unreasonable to not succeed. I share value that is worth thousands of dollars, where people charge thousands of dollars for their service, for their shitty service. So I do this, and I know that I'm not, not even close to hitting my goal. But I know that when I ever ask why I'm not there at my goal, I know what is required to do this, and I just do more. Because only with reps, you can now optimize your process, your signals. And successful people nailed the signal and the process. So now, let's say this, for example, our body. There are different components, for example, protein. Different protein sources can be absorbed in a different way. Let's say, for example, whey protein has the highest bioavailability. But something like gluten has very low. So the process for our body to absorb gluten is very bad, but to absorb whey is very good. And the only way, or the only reason why that is the case, well, is evolution. But it's because we had reps with the gluten, not with the gluten, with the milk protein. We as human beings are made, our body is optimized to work towards this thing. And once you understand that you need to know and spend so much time on one thing to achieve greatness, and you have so little or so few things to be good at, then you see your day in a whole different way. Because once you understand that you only can be great at some areas, because you need to spend 100,000 hours on one thing, in one area, then it is very ridiculous. For example, I will never ever be a great crypto trader because I don't have time to hit the reps. There is an infinite way to probably achieve these arbitrage goals, like having a great relationship, having money. But once you get specific and choose the right vehicle, it is very straightforward what you need to do. For example, I know. I have a 50-year plan out and know when to exit what company and know what to do, what is required, and know when to grow. I don't know when it happened, but I know what is required to achieve those goals, those milestones, and to be a billionaire one day. I don't know the time, because the time is something so abstract that we can't plan it. The only thing we can now do is the signal, the focus, the reps. And by the way, the feedback is now that what I'm about to show you. The feedback is now, wait, how much signal do I actually put in? Do I actually put the real signal in? Or is the signal I think actually a noise? And then things get very, very nice. So we now understand what focus is. Focus is actually doing work, spending time on things we need to do. Sorry that I say focus is focusing, but I hope you get the point. And now I want to tell you exactly what I do to avoid as much voice noise as possible. By the way, it was no 9-tip or 9-step process, because I thought this here was better. I have a few principles that I apply. Only single task. Single task, that means once I have a task, I work on it, and I only start a new one when it's finished. Then I plan my day, evening, and you don't need a fancy sheet or something. I can show this to you on my phone to you. In the last video I showed this to you. I will show this to you. Here I have a daily to-do on my phone, and here are my to-dos, and I mark them when it's finished. And these are only daily to-dos. They have to do with the signal, with the things I want to achieve in my life. Okay? I plan my day in the evening, because then I know what the signal is. And then signal noise tracking. Then I track my signal and the noise on a sheet or here. I write them down basically every single hour. I draw a line in the signal side or the noise side, and at the end of the day I draw it down, and every month I review, and then I need to do some transcendental work or rethink my life, or do, get a reality check. Next one is, be honest. When you fake that things, or when you tell yourself things are signals, like, I don't know, oh, I had to check those emails because, it was so important, but you subconsciously really know that that is only a coping mechanism. Avoid that. Be honest. And the only way to be honest is to work on your damn trauma. And I will make a video, I will make a video tomorrow how to deeply work on your trauma, because the last 2.5 years I spent on working on my traumas and my past, and I actually now use this, because I know them, to be successful. And that is actually what every successful person do. Because that is the only way how I now, actually destroyed my ego. I have no ego. I don't care if anyone talks shit about me. I don't need to display my success. I don't need to share my cars. I don't need to share the money I've made in a month. I don't need to talk. I'm only there to achieve my goal. And that is only something you can achieve with being honest to yourself and working on the trauma dumping. That is really something you need to do, but whole different thing. And then I have the right setup. And this is the exact thing I do. I have a brick. This is a blog. It is called Brick Distractions when you Google it. And it looks like that here. It is a little brick, and you have an app on your phone. I can show this to you. And the app literally shows you are bricked now. Yeah, you are bricked. Funny. Yeah. And here you can see how many apps I have blocked, and I only can unbrick my device when I hold it on the brick. And the brick, funny cool thing is now it is in my car. So I have to walk two minutes to actually only be able to open certain apps. Therefore I can have my notes here, I can have my WhatsApp here, because I have to send messages with my clients and my business partner and with my loved ones, and but destroy all the other noise. So I have this for my digital, and on my MacBook I have some app called Undistracted. It is a Google Chrome extension where you can block something like YouTube and all of that stuff. So it is harder to actually do this. You can actually block a certain website, so if you want to get rid of nasty videos, but there are always devices and things if you struggle on this. And for a little recommendation, to understand your setup, you need to understand yourself. Because you have different distractions or main triggers than I have. For example, one of my main distractions is checking chess or checking esports. I don't know why, but I love sports and esports, but I don't love watching videos. I love to view results and the data. Which NFL team had, which player had a touchdown, and all of these stats. Even though I don't watch the videos or don't watch the games, I love watching this. So I block all the sites for this, okay? And you need to understand what your number one thing is, because the first thing you need to tackle is the thing that hurts you the most. That is the hardest thing. If you spend 5 times a day on nasty sites, tackle this problem. If you have a 5-hour screen time on TikTok or Shorts, tackle this problem. Tackle the problem that is the hardest, or the you know, the one that creates the most noise. And then it's good. You need to understand that. You really need to understand that. So how I do this. So that is literally what I do. That is how I achieve this. And you notice from the morning routine, I wake up, I bring my brain with the right substances and the right things where I can't talk. Maybe I can talk on YouTube about this. I will make some videos about this, what substance I use to have brain function like biohacker and scientific proven perfect brain function. But I don't know if I want to share this, because there are people who pay thousands of dollars to get this personalized advice, and it would be unfair for them. But maybe I will do this for you. That's what I do. I wake up, I have my list down, I be here for the first 5 hours, because the morning is the most important time. I have my coffee, I have my nootropics and other plugins and substances, and I work on the signal. I have nothing else in my room that could distract me. And then I work on my health, because that is one noise I want to use. And then I work again, like today, like now. We have, what time do we have? 4:30 p.m. I have to record a video. I want to record daily video, because I love you guys, even though only 5 people are watching me. Because I will not stop. In order to grow, in order to get everyone on board and help every single human being, I need to display myself to the public. So I need to spend on this here. Big information video. I hope you understood a lot. And I'm now thinking about what I can now share more with you. Let's check out my notes. Yeah, that is a raw video. I'm sorry for that. So I have written down avoid the calendar, take more care on the signal, phone in break, work in sprints, not marathons, take walking meetings to refresh the brain, 2 to 3 big tasks beats 10 half finish one, don't multitask, single focus. Oh, nice. That is something nice. I have something. I tried it now out for 3 days and it is amazing. The thing is, with focus, you need to be in the zone, right? In the zone, and you need to have, this flow state. And the adaptogens and the things and the substances help me to do that easily. So I can be in the zone in 5 minutes. But now I found something that actually makes being in the zone actually funny. And that is, I love listening to music. And I found something that is called, like the brick device, these little things, these little changes, these little investments in yourself actually are worth it. It is called Brain FM. Brain FM. You can try it out. I guess they have a 14-day trial. After that, it costs $70. But I will maybe do some research if there is a free alternative, because I'm still in the free trial. And this here actually gives your brain the waves it needs to be in the zone. Because our brain is electricity, and for example, there is deep sleep, REM sleep, and non-REM sleep, and each sleep phase has to actually measure the sleep stage. We have different frequencies that our brain gives. For example, when we now measure, let's say this, for example, we now measure the electricity in our brain, while we sleep, we can measure the exact sleep stage we're in. And this app, it's actually an app for MacBook and for the phone. You can do both and have one account. This app actually allows you to play the exact frequency to be in the zone or to work on creative stuff. So it knows there are people behind it that actually know. By the way, I have no partnership with that. I have partnership with no one besides my company, right? There are people behind that who actually, worked on perfectionizing the focus and the energy and actually how you get in the flow. So try this out, it's great. And that's actually what I do. I'm here in my dark room. I have my substances and all of that stuff. I'm sitting here sometimes with a hoodie, sometimes with the cap, sometimes standing, sometimes sitting, sometimes I walk, whatever I feel like, but I do this stuff. And then I enjoy my day. And that's what you do too. So understand the signal, understand what the signal is, what the noise is, track it, really track it, try it out. And then you will see if you really want your goal or if you only want, the result of the goal and are not good enough to go through pain, because big goals require huge pain, and pain is only displaying something new. Your brain loves continuity. It loves things they are familiar with because you live here, you are not dead, and therefore your brain loves the things you are doing because they didn't kill you. But every new thing might kill you. And so, your survival instinct tells you that new things are pain. And in order to grow, in order to learn new things, in order, to expand and to grow into this weird goal, to this weird character, you need to go through a lot of pain. And this system made it so much easier for me. And I hope it makes it easier for you. My clients love it too. And even 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs are not perfect, are not perfect. For example, today we have now 4 p.m. I had 4 hours of voice because I went to the gym and I talked to my girlfriend and I woke up with her and I talked with a friend and I watched a YouTube video that I should not watch and I'm not perfect too. But maybe where I am is your goal. But I know that in order to achieve my goals, I need to cut on more of these things. And now there's the deeper level that you now have your noise that actually correlates with something that is actually good for you, like your health and your relationships. When you now take a look at the signal as only work related, the noise can be relationship and health related. And all of these other things can be, considered as garbage. So maybe you split this in 3 things, but I love to, display it in signal and noise, and love to, see the work as a signal and the rest as a noise, and don't feel mad when, I have 6 hours of noise because I know that I spent 2 hours with my girlfriend or 3, I had nice dinner with her, I, strengthened a relationship for long term, I went to the gym, I went to the sauna, I prepped my meals. I feel not bad about it. But of course, when I want to minimize it, I need to minimize these things too, because my goals will be bigger. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.